They announce all the things about people's characteristics and political ideology they don't like, but they claim that everybody should have a right to speak and this, that, and the other thing, but yet let somebody who disagrees with them come along, and they become the biggest fascists that you can imagine. And what we agreed is fascinating about this is that cigar smokers know what intolerance is. It doesn't matter what the politics of a cigar smoker is. When you're a cigar smoker and you walk into a place and pull out your cigar and start to light it, you know very well what intolerance is. People come up and shun you, and they kick you out of the place, and they get mean and all these things. And he finds it very strange that the people who know intolerance, cigar smokers, would themselves practice it in this instance. Now, there were a lot of letters that were very positive, too. I don't want to give you the wrong idea that it was all negative letters, but there were, like, I saw 2 or 3 from people who were threatening to cancel their subscriptions, or bookstore owners, or they're not going to sell the magazine and to send it back to their distributors and this kind of thing. In the meantime, the magazine, for the most part, other than these little pockets of protest, and a lot of them are in California, are hard to keep on the shelves. But it was just, Marvin, I want to thank you so much for allowing me into your business day for an hour, and to, I mean, it's just like a kid. He's like a kid on Christmas morning in his own office. Here, let me show you this. Let me show you this. And he shows me some this and some of that. Here, you want some ties? He gave me 5 cigar aficionado ties. You want some T-shirts? Here. Tell me how many T-shirts you need. I said 2. 2? Come on, take 10. Here, you need some bags? You need some caps? I mean, he's the most generous guy you can imagine. He's nothing. I've never talked politics with him. It doesn't matter. It's just a great friend, and it was a great time today. And I thought that you would find it interesting in this era of intolerance and PC that even an apolitical magazine, which has some subscribers, a lot of subscribers actually, and I'm sure these guys have been very supportive of Marvin in the past, but here's this one cover with me on it. And so now they're threatening not to sell it and to cancel their subscriptions and all this. And it's just typical of the intolerance of those on the left who claim to be among the most tolerant in society. Hypocrites all. Now, I just got a bit of news here before we hit the air today. Down in Lakeland, Florida today, and I knew this last week, but I had forgotten that today was the day for this. Our affiliate in Lakeland, Florida, which is, by the way, the headquarters for the Florida Department of Citrus, WLKF-AM is having a day-long great OJ buyout down there to help celebrate the greatness of Florida orange juice, the great taste, the healthful aspects, and the fact that Florida orange juice is now prominently featured as a sponsor of the Rush Limbaugh program. One of their hosts down there, WLKF, Lynn Breidenbach, is hosting a live remote all day at the Lake Mirror Center, which is in downtown Lakeland, and it's in conjunction with something, I guess it goes on every year, called the Senior Festival. The seasoned citizens gather in the park. Now, here's what's happening down there today, and this last Friday in Tampa, it was an overwhelming success. Every time one of these OJ buyouts has occurred, the success has been overwhelming, and it already is such today. But I just wanted to tell you about it because if you've read about all this orange juice stuff in your newspaper, you hear about all the negative. In fact, we watched last night. We watched in our TV production meeting, Channel 44 in Tampa sent a reporter out last Friday, or Thursday it was, to the cash and carry store where 5 women from the Now Gang showed up to protest, including Pat Ireland. And there were over 200 people who showed up to clear the shelves of this cash and carry store of orange juice. And they did. And there was videotape of guys walking out with 500 half gallons, grocery carts full of the stuff. And these people, you should have seen them. Their coats and ties, nice jeans and cutoffs. I mean, it was a cross-section of America that's just exactly representative of the audience of this show. And here you have these 5 angry women, and they can't be heard. They're trying to shout their protests and carry their signs, and they're just being drowned out by the voices of 200 people who don't agree with the Now Gang's position that the Now Gang has the right to tell other people what to drink. The Now Gang doesn't have the right to tell people what to listen to, and they're trying to impose their view on everybody. So Channel 44 in Tampa sends a reporter out there to do a story on all this, and at the end of the story, the reporter throws it back to the info guy, the anchor, and they start doing one of these little chat deals where the anchor talks to the reporter in the field, and I guess the guy in the field's name is Biff, and the anchor is probably a guy named Pat. Hey, Biff, looks like a lot of Limbaugh supporters out there. Kind of surprised to see that so few members of the National Organization for Women showed up. A lot of people surprised out there. Frankly, we're surprised, Pat. We're surprised that so few people for the National Organization for Women show up. We're surprised. And then Pat, the info anchor, said, yeah, I guess, well, we're all surprised. And this is my point. The Now Gang announces that they're going to show up somewhere, and the media expects a throng because they expect that most people agree with these small numbers of women who are angry and bitter over who knows what. And then when real Americans show up, exercising their rights of freedom and deciding they don't want to be dictated to by these women, the media acts stunned. The media is stunned and surprised. Everywhere these buyouts have occurred in Florida, there have been 10 to 15 to sometimes 20 times as many supporters of orange juice as there have been protesters. And that's probably what's going on today down in Lakeland, sponsored by WLKF. Now, people are going into this center, this little park, the Lake Mirror Center, and they're buying orange juice. Actually, they buy the orange juice first, and they take it down to Lake Mirror Center, which is where the remote broadcast is going on. And at that point, the orange juice is donated to charities. The Baptist Children's Home, Wheelhouse for handicapped kids, Anchor House for troubled boys, and the Sheriff's Girls and Boys Villa, which is for troubled youths. And already, this was as of 11 o'clock this morning, about an hour and a half ago, 1,000 gallons of Florida orange juice had been collected. And there's a floating crowd there of 500 to 600 at any one time, because people are moving in and out. All this, by the way, the news comes to us from Leroy Bradley, who's the general manager of our affiliate down in Lakeland, WLKF AM. They got billboards and banners and bumper stickers which all hail the Rush Buy Orange Juice, Rush to Buy Orange Juice campaign which is going on down there. We just wanted to thank them at WLKF. And the real thing is, and thank all of you, not only the radio station, but those of you who are participating in this thing. Thank you, Americans, for standing up for your rights and for your freedom to not be dictated to by a bunch of minority groups who are trying to use intimidation and other kinds of harassment tactics to tell you what you should and shouldn't do with your life and with your choices. So, also, a couple of faxes here. You know, I had a phone call yesterday from a guy who said, no wonder you can't find the Vince Foster bullet with a metal detector. Bullets are made of lead, and metal detectors don't detect lead. And I didn't know anything about that, so I said, all right, I'll take your word for it. Well, we've been overwhelmed with faxes. Here are two as an example. Mr. Limbaugh, on Tuesday's show, you had a caller who informed you that metal detectors do not detect lead. The caller was either misinformed or unaware of modern-day detector technology. As an avid gold prospector and miner, as well as Civil War buff, I have found many lead objects in my searches. In fact, the easiest way to find Civil War bullets, nearly all lead with no ferromagnetic alloys, is with a metal detector. A possible cause of not finding the bullet may be that it fragmented into pieces that were too small to be readily picked up by modern detectors. This, however, is not very likely, as modern detectors, such as those made by Garrett and White, will pick up objects as small as number 7 birdshot like that found in shotgun rounds. I know about that. In fact, I've found many objects this small myself. Thanks for your time, Sean Collins, Rowlett, Texas. Rush. About the call about bullets, almost no such thing as 100% lead. Most are around 2% tin and 6% antimony to make them a bit harder. Otherwise, they leave too much lead behind in the barrel. And anyway, most over-the-counter ammo's jacketed. Bullet has a copper coat. Copper will make a metal detector ring like a bell. Got a gun question? Ask the NRA. Dittos in Jacksonville, Florida. Best from Michael Nunley. So, the people continue to speak out, and we'll be back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
My friends, the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. Many listeners of this program are proving it every month. You know how? By starting their own Floor Coverings International franchise. They are becoming part of the fastest growing carpet retailer in history. Ranked #1 franchise in their category by Entrepreneur Magazine, FCI is revolutionizing the floor coverings industry by bringing samples directly to customers' homes and offices, which eliminates the overhead of a retail store. Now, why don't you join them? With FCI's support, you'll be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, and that's a key. There are opportunities available all over the country, and you can start realizing your dreams of independence for as little as $25,000. For information about an FCI franchise of your own, call Floor Coverings International at 800-DIAL-FCI. That's 1-800-DIAL-FCI.
Back in the 60s, there was a saying, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Today, that saying holds more truth than ever. Back in the 60s, car theft wasn't a problem. Today, a car is stolen every 19 seconds. Help put an end to the auto theft crisis with the affordable, easy-to-use solution, The Club. The Club's tough, tempered steel construction and high visibility make thieves move on to an easier target. Protect your car with The Club, available at better stores everywhere.
There are bigger things in life than bugs. Oh, yes. This is true. So when I found myself out in my tobacco field and discovered I had nematodes and soil insects, I was not alarmed. No, I was not. I simply said, these are but small things in a field of much bigger things. And I am in no mood for these small nematodes and soil insects. They will not spoil my day. Come transplanting, I will simply apply Mocap. Mocap brand nematicide insecticide, because I'm in no mood for nematodes and soil insects.
Mocap, Mocap, when tobacco bugs are bugging you.
You're searching for the best deal on a program car? Stop the search and head to Leith of Goldsboro today. Leith Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep Eagle, and Leith Dodge Isuzu has a lot of great deals for you. Leith has reduced the prices and increased the selection of program cars, like the 93 Dodge Shadows or Plymouth Sundances for $86.95 or as low as $138 a month. Leith Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep Eagle, and Leith Dodge Isuzu, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro. Tags, tag, and $138 dock fee or extra. Payments based on 20% down, cash or trade for 60 months at 7.95 APR. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there is more than just a slogan. It's a promise that we will be there when you need help. When you have a claim, you can count on Goldsboro State Farm agent Greg Foster to get it handled quickly and fairly. That's what Good Neighbor service is all about. So for all your insurance needs, car, home, life, and health, see your Good Neighbor State Farm agent, Greg Foster, at 908 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
WGBR.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies, the decidedly decisive, confident, and sure Rush Limbaugh in the prestigious Attila the Hun chair. Here is Estrella from Calumet City, Illinois. Now, Estrella was on hold yesterday toward the end of the program. We didn't have a chance to put her on. She'd been on hold for a while. She's graciously allowed us to call her back today. Thank you, Estrella. And what was it you were going to say yesterday toward the end of the program?
Well, yeah, feel American dittos to you, right?
Thank you.
And I care.
In fact, before you go, I've got another. Listen to this, folks. Do you remember? You'll remember this maybe too, Estrella, but those of you who watch television, do you remember when Hillary was in Boulder, Colorado? She went out there to do a health care speech, and she loves to sit there and say that only the media cares about Whitewatergate. That it's strictly a media trumped-up thing, that the voters and the people really don't care. I don't know if you saw it or not. Again, in our production meeting yesterday, where we were looking at various pieces of video to use on television yesterday, we saw a bunch of protest signs that people brought to the meeting. Not the media, but people. And one of the signs was an airplane. An airplane flew by, trailing a sign which read, "Reveal your S&L income." Well, the people who did that sent me a fax today. Here's their fax. Dear Rush, we care. We believe Hillary Rodham Clinton chose Boulder to be her first appearance location after the subpoenas in order to demonstrate that only the media was interested in Whitewater. We were so incensed at her arrogant, contrived selection of her trip agenda, we contracted a plane to carry the banner, "Reveal your S&L income." Despite our efforts, she later in the day again repeated that only the press was interested in Whitewater, that the public had no questions. Well, that's because the public is never allowed to ask her questions. Please keep up the good work. Also, please keep our names private. She was right in believing that Boulder is radically liberal. But please feel free to let it be known a private citizen personally arranged that airplane-led protest banner. There you go. I will respect their desire for privacy. They will not be harassed by the liberal community in Boulder. So I'm glad that you care too, Estrella.
Yes, and you know why I also like to attest the rest of your words when you say you put the people who disagree with you first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I called you late yesterday, and I was put on first since I'd like to register my disagreement with you regarding your characterization of the Niet speech as presidential whining. I really believe, Russ, that it is more of a Clinton just throwing a baby boomer Hollywood temper tantrum. That's about it, I think.
Wait a minute, you don't think that was whining?
Russ, I listened to some excerpts of that speech in our local radio station.
Well, what do you mean? He sits there and says, oh, when I was governor, I never did them this way. I never wronged them. That's whining.
I'll give you a proof. That's acting, because I listened to those excerpts of that speech.
Hang on a minute. We got a break, Estrella. We'll get right back to you. Hold your thought right there in mid-syllable. Hi, Rush Limbaugh here. You know, a major university recently surveyed over 600 employers as to why job applicants do not get hired. Number one reason, poor communication skills. People do judge us by the words we use, and Verbal Advantage, a complete audio cassette vocabulary program, will give you the word power you need to communicate with authority and flair. To learn more, call now, 1-800-28-TAPES. That's 800-28-TAPES.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
And this is Wayne Alley. Governor Jim Hunt commended Senator John Carr of Goldsboro yesterday for his strong leadership during the General Assembly special session on crime. The governor referred to Senator Carr as one of the state's toughest crime fighters, and he cited Carr's sponsorship of strong legislation to make prison a real deterrent and to make sure that violent repeat offenders stay behind bars, and also for his helping to make sure the House passes similar bills. The governor called attention to the fact the Senate has done an impressive job in passing tough new laws to fight crime and praised Senator Carr for having done an equally impressive job in helping to push those new laws through. Wayne County Commissioner Andy Anderson suggested yesterday that commissioners should hold another hearing on the rezoning of Lancaster property on Airport Road. Lancaster understands the Airport Authority and the Planning Board did not want it rezoned. He described it as a situation in which some errors were made and suggested commissioners hear it and clear the air, prompting this response from Commission Chairman D.J. Pelt.
Suppose I'm concerned, we made that zoning change, what? Good.
It's been about 8 months.
It's been about 8 months. I'm not in favor of going back over that same dog again.
County Commission Chairman T.J. Pelt. Wayne County Commissioners approved a contract with ABL Management of Louisiana to serve meals in the Wayne County Jail at a savings of more than $84,000 to the county. Chairman Pelt had a question others have been asking and directed it to the county manager.
Come up with that $80,000 savings.
Mr. Ricks did that, I think, by using 2 jailers and the difference in the cost of what it's costing us now to feed people and what it would cost us under the new contract based on, 132 average inmates.
Wayne County Manager Will Sullivan. Ms. Mary Ellis Bowden's chairman of the Wayne County Nursing Home Committee, which makes surprise visits to nursing homes in the county to take a look at the environment, the food, and the activities. She told Wayne commissioners in making an annual report that nursing homes are improving.
We talk with the residents, we talk with family members, we check the time that call bells are being answered, we check to see if the resident is able to reach the call bell button. We notice if there's any odor. We've been very pleased this year. Our nursing homes have really improved over the years.
Ms. Mary Ellis Bowden, and I'm Wayne Alley.
Springtime will have to be temporarily put on hold as a mass of very chilly air is moving into the region on gusty north to northwest winds. We expect lots of bright sunshine this afternoon and temperatures holding in the 50s. Clear tonight and very cold for this time of year. Lows 25 to 30. Wind chill factors down around 10. Tomorrow mostly sunny with less wind. Highs 48 to 54. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
WGBR.
Radio phenomenon, TV trendsetter, best-selling author, popular cover boy, and charming dinner companion. You're listening to America's Talk Show with Rush Limbaugh.
Defending the institutions that make this country great. Monogamy, business, the military, broadcasting, and tax-free municipal bonds. I'm on your side. This is the EIB Network. Our phone number is 1-800-282-2882. Back to Estrella in Calumet City, Illinois. So the president is simply acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you proof. If you listen to that speech when he mentioned about the arena of ideas, or I heard that from somebody.
Yeah.
From you, I think.
Yeah.
And you listen to the inflection and the calculated modulation of his voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's acting, Rush. That's acting. That's Shakespearean acting.
All right. So what either way, do you think it's not sincere, is it?
Yeah. So if you're not sincere, what do you do? Either you're lying or you're acting.
Well, if you're acting, aren't you lying?
Well, because that's not really you.
That's right. That's right. But it still took on the appearance of a presidential whine.
Because he's a Shakespearean actor, you see.
Uh-huh.
And, he's still, no one can act that way or talk that way. The passion and those begging things and things like that. You can only do that in the privacy of your family or home, but in a big crowd, and you can express those emotions.
I disagree with you on there. No. I think people can lose it in public as well as lose it at home.
Well, you lose it all the time.
Yeah.
Like when you cry on call. What do you think of that?
Well, he's got tears in his eyes practically every speech.
Yeah,
biting the lower lip. I don't disagree with you that he's an actor. I don't disagree with you that he affectates his personality on several occasions. I just thought this was, whether it was planned, thereby acted, whether it was spontaneous, it still was whining.
Well, you can call
that.
You
can act and whine at the same time.
Well.
This is called host diplomacy. See, we do agree.
We do agree.
We do agree.
That's why I care.
All right. All right.
So much.
You bet, Estrella. Thanks. Thank you so much for calling. Richland, South Carolina. Sherry, hello. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Mega heartfelt dittos, Rush.
Thank you.
I can't believe I finally got through after 2 years.
I'm glad you made it. Thanks for your persistence.
One thing is, I have to defend you constantly to all my leftist friends because they do not understand you. You know why? Because people have beat into most women and men's heads the demasculization of men, which is why you get into so much trouble because you're decisive, you don't change your mind on opinions, you stick with what you feel in your heart, and people cannot stand it.
You really think that's what it is?
I think it is. Because, okay, what is the most masculine part of a man?
Well,
we don't have to get into that, but Lorena Bobbitt demasculized her husband.
Yes.
And that's what people it's an agenda. The Now Gang, by the way, I've read both of your books and I love them.
Thank you.
My husband is not going to believe I got through. I hope that I can get your address and send. I wrote you a poem.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Well, I'll give you the address.
And maybe a picture. I just adore you. Anyway.
It's always the case. It's always married women who adore me.
Oh, well.
It's always that way. It's always that way. Well, I think, and I have stated on occasion, and I think something that does bother people, and not just me, but not about me, but things that bother people. Nobody's supposed to be sure of themselves anymore. It's just that's sometimes it's closed-minded, other times it's threatening and intimidating. Nobody's supposed to be that sure of themselves. You're supposed to have some open-mindedness, maybe a little uncertainty that makes you more vulnerable, and people don't like people who they think are not vulnerable because it makes them feel a little vulnerable and so forth. And I also think that it's intimidating to find people, to encounter people rooted in their principles, because in such an instance, this gets to the second thing that I always think is really at the root of why people disagree with me. Those who listen to me and disagree with me, who are threatened, do so because they have a hunch I'm really right, and they just don't want to be confronted so powerfully with the fact that they might be wrong about certain cultural or social things. Now, the people who don't listen to me have simply bought into the reams and reams of misrepresentation in the form of criticism. Can't do anything about that.
It is. I believe it's if you really look at it, I believe that it's the demasculization of men, because people are trying to make them more sensitive, more caring, more this, more that. Men have to be completely decisive in order to feel confident, and they're aggressive. Men are naturally aggressive.
Well, I love these Southern women. They seem to have not forgotten what it is about men and women that makes us both great.
You know, there are diversities that if you really truly examine a male and a female diversity, you can appreciate both sides and not have to go off half-cocked and think, well, men are all scum. They're not. There are wonderful, fantastic men like you and my husband.
Well, see, you just nailed it. I mean, people are upset with the natural roles of human nature and are trying basically to alter those roles.
You cannot go against nature.
I know.
You can't. Plus, what you said about being right is true, because the maddest I've ever been was when my Bible study teacher told me something. And she was right, and it made me so angry. But 2 months later, after I thought about it, and I studied what she told me to study, she was right. And it made me so angry because she was right. So there is that part of it, too, that when someone's right and you know they're right, it makes you angry because you didn't think of it first.
I'm glad you called. Thank you. Thank you so much for defending me with all of those naysayers.
I appreciate it. I really, really do.
Now, listen to the radio for the address. Is your radio on?
No, I had to turn it off.
Okay, well, I'll wait a couple seconds. We'll hang up, turn the radio on, and you'll get the address, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We don't give the address out here much, but it's real simple. Just put Rush, New York. It'll get here. It'll get here if you just put Rush on it. You don't have to put New York. It'll arrive. The address is EIB Network, EIB Building, 2 Penn Plaza, New York City, 10023. It's that simple. Vinny, the mail guy, will love me for this, but it's EIB Network, EIB Building, 2 Penn Plaza, 10023 in New York City. Up next, Los Angeles and Mark. I'm glad you called. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program. Glad you got through.
Hello, Rush.
Hi.
Ditto, 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 ditto.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Rush, I'm a sound guy, and I saw the new golden EIB mic on Nightline, and it is a beauty.
Is it not stupendously gorgeous?
You say it's an EV RE20 or something?
It's an EV RE20.
Oh, excellent.
Sounds good, too, doesn't it?
Well, you can't tell unless you're there at the best listening source. It depends. If you have bad speakers, you can't tell how good the mic is.
Well, I'm listening to it on COS Mac 5 Super Digital Real Radio Announcer headphones, and I'm telling you, blowing my drums out.
Yeah, well, digital, that doesn't mean anything in headphones, too. You know that.
Sounds good, though.
Okay, let's get to the point.
Yeah.
Last night on the McNeil-Lehrer report...
I saw it.
You saw it?
I saw it for the first time in a long time.
Well, they were discussing Hillary's role, and it was the usual panel, two semi-conservatives and 2 liberals.
Can I guess what you're going to say?
Of course.
I won't. You're going to address something that was stated by Lynn Cutler?
Well, it was Sheila Tate's response. I don't know if Lynn Cutler started it, but I was talking about what Sheila Tate said.
Go ahead, then.
Well, she made the point, when everyone's bringing up this idea that Hillary's only being attacked because she's the woman, Sheila Tate said, can you imagine for a minute if we had a woman president and her husband was given charge of the crime bill or environmental policy, and then we found out something about his past, or this type of the same information, how would he be treated? And it silenced them.
Absolutely did. It's the same analogy you can make about a corporate CEO who brings his wife in and turns her over, or turns the design of the 1999 model of new cars over to his wife. Mm-hmm. And she's not applied for a job. She's not been interviewed for a job. She's not had to submit any qualifications for a job. She's not had to go before the board of directors. That's the same thing that's happened here. And I made this point again last night on television. You people who think that the opposition to her is based on men incapably facing a powerful woman are missing the boat as bad as you can. It's nothing more than who elected her and what are her qualifications. And so what? This is the United States of America, and we don't have to agree with her, even if she is the smartest woman in the world, and even if her intentions are better than anybody else's. There's no requirement that we agree with her, and nobody's committing a sin, and nobody's being un-American by disagreeing with her. I thought what you were going to say was Lynn Cutler.
What did she say?
Lynn Cutler made the point, hey, look, she didn't actively pursue health care. She wasn't a lady in waiting. She didn't sit here and systematically design her little niche in the White House. Let's not forget the president asked her to do this. And, you know, Sheila Tate's eyebrows kind of raised a little bit. She didn't want to say anything, but if I'd have been on that show, I would have said, come on, Ms. Cutler, can we at least be honest? Everybody in this country knows that Hillary Clinton carved out in this presidency exactly what she wanted to do. It's the price Mr. Clinton had to pay. And to say that she was sitting around one day trying to figure out the new place settings for state dinners and got a call from her husband saying, by the way, you know, we got this health care reform plan. Would you mind heading it up? She tried to present the notion that it happened just that way. And when you find these feminists being dishonest to this extent about... she was unwilling to admit the truth that Mrs. Clinton actually wanted health care. It's one of the things that she wanted her husband to be elected for, and it is her agenda specifically that causes us now to be debating this. And I find it incredible that the feminist Lynn Cutler wouldn't admit that.
It's typical. You know, you think Hillary Rush could go up there in front of Congress with no notes like she did on the health care and talk about Whitewater for that long?
No.
And you know another thing, wasn't Clinton the guy who came to Washington wanting to focus on the economy like a laser beam?
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about his own finances, McDougal says his eyes glaze over.
Yes. True. Good point. Thanks for calling, Mark.
Okay.
Great to hear from you. By the way, I have another report here. You know, in addition to visiting Boulder, Colorado, Mrs. Clinton also went to St. Louis. And made a comment in St. Louis that, once again, is another "see, I told you so." May I remind you again what I have stated about the Clinton administration? That what they really seek is an attempt to take over as much of this nation's government as they can for the express purpose of redefining the way this country is. They are basically collectivists. They are basically statists. They think that most people are incapable, and so they want to control things themselves on whatever justice or fairness basis they define. Here's her quote. "This is not just a debate about how we finance our health care," Mrs. Clinton said. "It's bigger than that. It's a debate about what kind of country we are and intend to be." See, I told you so. She admits it in this comment. This is not just about health care. This is about an ideology. This is about how the American people are going to be governed. And we'll be back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey, I'd like to share a little juicy gossip with you. I don't mean to name names, but perfect peach, juicy mandarin orange, crisp green apples, sweet dark cherry, and delicious red raspberry are involved. That's right, we're talking about Juiceful's hard candy with the juicy center, the best hard candy on this or any other planet. Now, some of you still don't know why Juiceful's taste so much like fresh, ripe fruit. Well, I've already mentioned that Juiceful's are made with real fruit juice, so there's real fruit juice, real cherry juice in a dark cherry Juiceful's. There's real apple juice in the green apple flavor. Same goes for all the other flavors. And as if that weren't enough for you, wait till you get a load of the fabulous Juicy Center. Look for Juicefuls in your favorite store. You can't miss the colorful bags with pictures of perfect fruit all over them. And if you can't find them, find the store manager and let that store manager know that you demand. Say you want, but you're actually demanding Juicefuls. Real fruit juice hard candy. Remember, it's the one with the Juicy Center.
If you're a self-employed or small business owner, then grab a pencil and write this number down. 1-800-331-NASE. You'll be calling the National Association for the Self-Employed. NASE is one of the largest group associations in the U.S. Here are just some of the benefits you'll enjoy as a member. A true voice in Washington. Travel benefits, free small business consultancy, and up to 45% off computers and software. Now, there are many more benefits, but the most popular one is the NASE-endorsed health insurance. Underwritten underwritten by PFL Life Insurance Company. You'll receive your choice of doctors and hospitals anywhere in the world. You can't be singled out for rate increases or cancellations. For more information from the field services of the National Association for the Self-Employed, call 1-800-331-NASE. That number again is 1-800-331-NASE. Join the group that's looking out for you, the National Association for the Self-Employed. The number to call right now is 1-800-331-NASE. A.T. Farrell & Son of Mount Olive is offering a sweet deal. Just buy a Train XL 1100 package gas electric system before May 31st, and you'll receive up to $150 in quick savings rebates on the spot. The XL 1100 comes with a legendary Climatub compressor and an exclusive manufacturer's 10-year limited warranty on the compressor and coil. It's hard to stop a train and hard to beat a rebate from E.T. Farrell & Son of Mount Olive. Call 658-2971.
Hungry for lunch? Well, you need to head to Western Steer. Enjoy the daily lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 4, starting at only $1.99. Western Steer's hamburger steak with baked potato or fries, toast, and a trip to the bakery is only $1.99. Western Steer also has other fine lunches and mouth-watering steaks that will make you come back for more. So when your stomach is growling and you're ready for lunch, come to Western Steer, located on Berkeley Boulevard across from Sears in Goldsboro.
Tuned to the hottest radio talk show in the world, Rush Mania, on the Armed Forces Radio Network, the EIB World Service, 15.420 megahertz, and 636 commercial radio stations in the United States and Guam. Here's Whitefield, New Hampshire, and Tom. Glad you called, sir. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Rush.
Hi.
I watched the national news last night, and I was a little amazed about some of the comments that the people from the southernmost part of New Hampshire made regarding whitewater being an object used for rafting and canoeing. I live in a very different conservative state of New Hampshire, and I suspect very strongly that a number of the people that were at that rally town meeting were people who might have been exported, or rather imported, from Massachusetts. I'm calling to hopefully clear the good name of the state of New Hampshire. We're led by a very competent, very knowledgeable Governor Stephen Merrill, who is a Republican. We have two great United States
Sir,
senators.
you're suggesting, let me just understand something here so that we leave no stone unturned. I don't want a cloud of murkiness or a web of deceit to be woven on this program. Are you suggesting, perhaps, that the White House might have planted participants in the town meeting?
Well, I wouldn't suggest that, but my children, my son who's in the 4th grade and my daughter who's in the 8th grade, both are very well aware of what whitewater means, and they don't misconstrue it to mean something about rafting or canoeing. Nashua's proximity to the state of Massachusetts is very, very handy, and a lot of the comments I heard from people are not the comments I'm hearing from people up in northern New Hampshire.
All right. Well, it's possible people could come over from Massachusetts. I'll just say this. I have a friend who anchored a Clinton town meeting in Sacramento. He's in town this weekend. We had dinner. I said, let me ask you a question. Did you guys stage any of that? Was the audience picked by people in the White House? They have a hand in it? We said, no. We told the White House that we wouldn't do the town meeting on those bases, or under those auspices, that if they're going to get involved selecting the audience, we wouldn't do it. So there's one instance at least where they didn't stack it. It doesn't matter. I don't care whether or not they do. You probably have to understand that when the president announces he's going to go somewhere, that his supporters are more eager to show up than those who oppose, and it's quite logical to assume he has a lot of supporters. So I don't find those things all that surprising, nor do I find them troublesome. Well, I appreciate your observation. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Al Roker is a great weatherman, as quick with the barometric pressure reading as he is with a joke. Well, now Al brings his uncanny abilities to CNBC to join a diverse group of hosts who discuss issues. Al's style's truly his own, neither confrontational nor sensational. He interviews everyone from celebrities to the ordinary citizen in out-of-the-ordinary circumstances. So watch Al Roker on CNBC. He's one of a kind. Check local listings for time and channel number for Al Roker on CNBC.
Have you ever shaken someone's hand, gotten their name, and 10 seconds later the name is forgotten? That can be embarrassing, and in business, it costs you money. This is Kevin Trudeau, founder of the American Memory Institute. Imagine in just a few short hours developing a photographic memory and increasing your own memory 500% or more, guaranteed. Students get straight A's with less study time. Call 1-800-862-MEGA and see why over 2 million people have already benefited from the easy-to-learn Mega Memory Home Study course. That's 1-800-862-MEGA.
John is a typical pork producer, making his routine stops around town looking for a good value.
Hey, Alex, how you been?
Good to see you, John. John asked about a volume discount on 6-inch bolts, and the implement dealer says, sorry. He pays, then walks away reminded that it's tough to save even a $50.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, John. What's new?
John needs hinges for his hog gates, but finds none on sale. Once again, he ponders the problem of saving just 2 quarters. Now back at the farm, it's time to mix feed for his healthy finisher pigs, and he uses 10 grams of Thailand feed additive for each ton of feed. Suddenly, a big smile comes to his face as John remembers, for every ton of feed he mixes, he can save 50 cents on Thailand at 10 grams over BMD at 30 grams.
Ask your feed dealer how you can save 50 cents on Thailand feed additive at 10 grams over BMD at 30 grams. Savings may vary according to local product pricing.
Hi, folks. I see you've been eyeing that car. Sharp looking, ain't it?
Yeah, we really like it. How much does it run?
Well, you know you'll get the best deal in town right here. Why don't you and the missus take a test drive, see what you think?
Thanks, but we've driven one before.
Now, why worry your little self about the price? Did I tell you about the fuzzy dice that come free with every new automobile we sell? Just think how good they look in this baby.
That's nice, but we really just want to find out the price.
Well, I'd have to talk to my manager, figure up your rebate.
Can't you just give us a price without a lot of hassle?
If that's what you want, why don't you go on over to Courtesy Buick in Goldsboro?
Where's that?
Courtesy in Goldsboro. They do that no-hassle price stuff every day.
Thanks.
Great, let's go there.
At Courtesy Buick GMC in Goldsboro, you don't have to fight to find out a car's price. It's marked right up front on every Buick, GMC, and Honda on the lot. No dickering, no negotiating, no hassle. It's the better, easier way of buying a car. At Courtesy Buick GMC in Goldsboro, your no-hassle dealer.
Come back. I didn't get to tell you about our special deals for National Peanut Month.
Hey, got a call from Manhattan in New York. This is Eileen. You're up next on the Rush Limbaugh program. Hello.
Hello, Rush.
Hi.
Otids to you.
Otids. Ooh, that means you listen to the show or you don't agree with me.
I don't. Very seldom do I agree with you. But being a liberal in the dictionary sense of the word, I have an open mind, and I will listen to you as much as I can handle.
You are a rare liberal.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I am
There
not at
are a
all.
lot of people out there who are liberal who are some of the most intolerant bigots in our society. I'm glad you're not
Well, I
one
don't
of them.
consider them liberals.
Well, they are. I mean, they are leftists
I
in
mean,
their ideology.
there are radicals in your group, too. But I don't want
These are not the radicals. These are the mainstream liberals. But look, we're taking away
Yeah, I don't want to talk
various
about that.
time. Call.
I did want to discuss, talk about one of the things I want. First of all, I just want to tell you that when you complain about Clinton whining, you are such an expert at whining yourself. Whenever you are criticized...
I've been waiting for this call. I've been waiting for this.
And you whine. Now,
I wasn't complaining about him whining. I was observing.
Sorry.
I'm happy he's whining.
Well, I don't think he was whining at all. I heard
He's acting then.
But be that as it may, I want to talk a little bit about health care. This whole question that always gets raised about choice. Now, I've been a union member and a union leader and helped negotiate many a contract in my working life. I'm retired now. And I want to tell you, first of all, there was never a choice. You either paid for some of it, paid for all of it, or the company absorbed the whole thing. But it was a plan that the company wanted. And if you wanted your own one, you could go and leave the company plan, but you couldn't afford to pay for it by yourself. You had to be in group plan to
That's not what's meant by choice.
Well, I know, but you know, I think it has to be made clear that you don't. You keep talking. You don't have your choice of doctor, and you don't have this, and you don't.
You won't, and it's not me saying it. It's the health care plan. I can't erase what's written there. Eileen, look, I got to take a break. Can you hang on through the news break? Please, please. Pray that she holds on.
Each year, America spends more than $1 billion to repair and replace vandalized highway signs, and more than $15 million to clean up litter in national parks. Hi, I'm Linda Evans, National Spokesperson for Take Pride in America, a grassroots effort to preserve and enhance our nation's resources. With every act that damages our resources, we Americans steal from ourselves and rob our children of our country's beauty. To find out how to help, call 1-800-US-PROUD.
We all have our share of life's little problems. It could be a problem with a friend or a family member, or maybe even one related to your career. I'm Lee Maribal, and each weekday from 10 till noon, I take calls from listeners that have questions or problems probably similar to those you've had. I try to give advice to help you solve those problems, or at least help you take the first step. I hope you'll join me each weekday morning on Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR.
Jerry Edwards, the director of the Wayne Mental Health Center. Dr. Edwards will assume duties March 1st as the Chief of Mental Health Services for the State Division of Mental Health, Developmentally Disturbed, and Substance Abuse Services. Ted Gowan, the Eastern Region Personnel Director, will address the search committee in its first meeting tomorrow. Gowan will outline the advertising, interview, and application review process and the criteria for selecting a director. State statute requires the Area Mental Health Board to select a new director. A proposal to increase the sum paid by the town of Mount Olive to employees using their private vehicles in their work was put on hold until town board members have had an opportunity to study the town's travel ordinance. It was proposed to boost the reimbursement from the current 26 cents per mile to 28 cents. This was proposed because the town board understands that the IRS now allows employees to claim 28 cents per mile. Mayor Lewis Pate said the board will decide what action to take after reviewing the travel ordinance. Mount Olive Pickle Company has petitioned the town board asking to close portions of Witherington, Brock, and West Center Street, and a public hearing has been set for March 7th. The company wants to fence that area for security reasons. And a public hearing will be held the same night on the request of Earl Rayner to close a section of Johnson Street that actually has never been open. Johnson Street parallels Rayner's property at the corner of Johnson and Franklin Streets. I'm Wayne Alley.
Cloudy skies and a chance of showers in the forecast today. Later today, possibly some thunderstorms. Highs this afternoon in the 70s, believe it or not, and still very windy. Rain tonight, possibly some freezing rain toward morning along the Virginia border. Lows in the mid-30s in the north and 40s southward. Precipitation should be ending by midday tomorrow. Temperatures will stay steady in the mid-30s in the north and low to mid-40s southward. I'm Bill Schmidt at the Weather Center.
WGBR.
He was just lying there on the grassy knoll with a gun in his side. There was no blood. There was no blood at all.